Yo, so uh obviously Destiny is ending. It's getting its final update, and I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon and I don't know, record, write down some of my thoughts on the situation. I've got some notes here. Uh, but basically, as I've said here, uh, I'm only doing this for myself because I wanna, you know, reflect, what I think about the situation because you know, it's important to me. I've been playing the game for a good few years now. It's a big part of my life. I mean, not not so much anymore. Like I don't play Destiny quite as much as I used to, but you know, I've got a lot of memories with the game. I've made a lot of friends through it, and it's important to me. But basically, uh, what what do I think right now? You know, uh, or okay, if if you aren't me watching in 5 years' time, I guess thanks. Thanks for I don't know listening to me. I guess uh, if you're one of the 15% of regular viewers, I mean I don't know how regular it is because I've uploaded like twice in the last 3 months, but uh, thanks I guess. Anyway, basically, point number one, I think it's not that big of a deal. Like we all saw this coming, you know, like everyone saw this coming. Play counts are low, blah 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 blah. Doom and gloom. No news on an update that's supposed to be coming out in 3 weeks' time. Blah blah blah. Uh, you know, it's not looking good. But like, we should have all seen this coming. Now we all knew the game is going to end at some point because the game has to end at some point. Like that shit can't continue on forever. Like, you know, nothing lasts forever. Uh, you get what I'm saying. You you gotta set your expectations. Like a live service game like Destiny can't continue forever. There's only so long you can milk it, and it still be original and interesting. Like this like should be obvious, but lots of people saying like, oh, there's still so much for Destiny to go on. But yeah, like Destiny's a big game. There's like a lot of avenues that they could take the game through, right? There's an infinite amount of ideas that they can make an expansion about if they really needed the cash, right? There's never going to be a situation in Destiny where the story concludes. So it's gonna feel bad when it goes, and it's gonna happen at some point. But you kind of got to set your expectations. And as for how it's going out, like I wrote here, go out in a bang. Um, I think okay. Well, the alternative to what we got, which is, in case I watched this back in 5 years and I've forgotten, we get a big update that has nice things that people actually want. Um, you know, it's kind of like a pattern that Bungie always has a vision for the game, that they've always got a direction they want to take the game in. I don't know where that comes from, whether it's from management or from the developers. Either way, they're always trying to make the game a certain way. But I guess that the plug has been pulled. There's no funding, or they just don't care anymore, and they're done with it. Um, so they can kind of just let the people have what they want. I think is the situation. Maybe that's my opinion. But that kind of thing is definitely better. It's definitely better to have like just like a crazy update that brings back loads of stuff that people love, like Pantheon, like Sparrow Racing League. I mean, I didn't play D1, but like I assume people are happy about this. I guess maybe there'll be other things in there as well. Who knows? Probably nothing major, but it'll be cool. Um, this is way better than getting some half-baked Shadow and Order than them saying, by the way, guys, we're actually not going to be developing the game anymore after this point. That'd feel pretty bad, right? As far as endings go, this would be pretty good. And I've also heard a lot of people say like, oh, a game should have ended at Final Shape. Well, it didn't end at Final Shape, right? And there's obviously like they could have ended it at Final Shape, but from like a business standpoint, right? I hate to say that, but like Final Shape was good because it was like, okay, I know it didn't meet their revenue targets or whatever, and there's like the classic Paul Tassi blog post that says like, oh, it didn't meet the targets or whatever, but like, Paul Tassi said it, so it must be true. Either way, it probably made them a fuck ton of money, and the game is really popular. Uh, Obviously they can continue to, you know, like advance the story, and they kind of like I imagine they thought it would be successful, but they kind of fucked up, but it's how it goes. Happens. People make mistakes. Like it's ending now. This is a good way to do it. I think this update is gonna be pretty good. The irony of the situation as well that I've been thinking about is like it's probably gonna bring in like quite a lot of players. It'll definitely bring in more players than whatever Shadow and Order, whatever Shadow and Order would have brought in. But like I don't know, kind of funny. Um, yeah, I guess moving on from this, like I I guess I don't I'm not quite as sad as some people. Like it's still I'm still struggling to process it. Destiny is ending. For context, I've played since like about March in 2020. Like I picked up the game in just before COVID, like a lot of people do. Well, one of my RL friends recommended it to me, and he got me to start playing. And so for the first year, we played like a lot, sort of season of the worthy, season of rivals, sort of time, and like that was a long time ago, and I've played a hell of a lot of Destiny in that time, right? And like I get that you know different people are at different stages, right? There's still a huge number of people who are still exploring the game, and it still has like a huge amount of wonder associated with it. Even though I I think it was easier to explore the game like pre Beyond Light, pre Sun Setting. Like taking in the universe probably made a lot more sense given that you started the old story. But I'm not about to go into some tangent where I say, oh, I paid for it and and they took it away from me or whatever. I'm not one of those people. But like you know, I don't know, just my opinion. But like that spark that I had from like exploring the Destiny universe, as it were, uh, you know, that's kind of gone, right? I'm not saying like that the game isn't fun anymore. It's just the reason I play the game has changed, right? Back then, I played for the story. I played for like the aesthetic. I played for like you know going and looking at cool things, looking at cool cutscenes, playing cool story missions, whatever. Nowadays, I play because doing solo raid encounters is like a really I don't know kind of unique challenge. I guess I don't really play any games other than Destiny, but it's like you know it's really nice. It's something I can be good at, as opposed to something I find like interesting from a story perspective. So like I've kind of been there. I've been there and done that, and I've had my fill of like taking in the atmosphere, and it was great. And I've kind of reached acceptance. Well, I haven't reached acceptance because I have a huge amount of nostalgia for like the Beyond Light, the pre Beyond Light days, the Beyond Light days. I love Beyond Light. I have a soft spot for it. It was my first expansion, but like that I was there for. But you know, like I love that time. But I'm kind of reaching acceptance with the fact that nothing, not even any new Destiny expansion, uh, would ever recreate that spark, right? That kind of feeling that you get when you first explore Destiny. You know, n- nothing can bring that back, right? And that's sad, but it's just how it goes, right? Probably not even Destiny 3 could do that. Maybe it could. Who knows? Are we gonna get Destiny 3? Probably not. But I'll talk about that in a minute. But the reason I play Destiny is different now, and as far as playing Destiny, just as an avenue to challenge myself, in like from like a gaming perspective, like even that I've, for the most part exhausted that. Like there's still loads of challenges that I could still do. I'm not saying I've like done everything. I've just done everything that is interesting to me. There's a couple of like encounters I still haven't done. A couple of which aren't possible right now, like Tanix. But I don't really care. Like I've done all the things I'm interested in doing. I could go, start filling out like the low man checklist or whatever, and snapping up those mastery rolls. But like, I've had my fill. So I guess I don't really care as much as some people. So I understand why some people are upset. I'm not saying like just abandon your emotions about the game. I'm aware that we all have different perspectives on this, and like how far you are into the game kind of affects how you're gonna feel about the game not getting any more updates. But nothing is ever gonna bring that back, and nothing will ever bring back raiding for the first time. Nothing will ever bring back you know like for me, I started playing when I was about I was like 14. It was like COVID, so we had like online school and everything. And instead of doing online school, obviously I'd be sitting there either playing Destiny or okay, so we had really like shit internet, but where I used to live, like it'd be too slow to play Destiny on. So instead of doing that, I would be reading like the Destinypedia, like the lore website, or like the Ishtar archive thing, because I love the story, right? I'd sit there like for hours, like reading through that, and it was just so cool. You know, I do really miss it. I miss playing with my friends who like got me into the game. You know, that was great, but nothing's gonna bring that back. Nothing's gonna bring back raiding with them for the first time. Nothing's gonna bring back doing my first flawless raid or whatever, right? Nothing's gonna bring back doing your first solo, right? Even that is like, that's a few years ago now, right? It's got to end one day, and it's gonna stop being fun. And even if you keep playing Destiny, I'm not saying I'm quitting Destiny, you know, I'm still gonna play Destiny, but it's like there comes a point where it's like it's not that big of a deal. You can kind of move on, and Destiny is an all-consuming game, right? So I guess it is like, I don't know. You're kind of lucky to have a passion outside of Destiny some of the time. I'm not saying like everyone is like a hopeless addict to Destiny, but like you, people who play Destiny play a lot of Destiny, myself included. But you know, uh, I'm kind of happy where at the point where I'm at, where I have things I enjoy doing outside of Destiny now. Uh, so it's like not that important to me, but like the game, as far as I'm concerned, any extension they could have added to the game is like it's great, but it just doesn't hit the same as it used to, and that's okay. We should be okay, I think. People need to be okay with letting go of things that and accepting that things that they love are gonna stop feeling the same after a certain amount of time. Anyway, I've labelled the point enough. Um, Other things, about the hashtag situation. It's like no one has anything unique to say. Destiny 3 is probably not going to happen. There's some petition out as of right now. It's got like 150,000 signatures. That's fantastic, guys. Great job. But like, if they sell Destiny 3 for $80 or something, and let's assume that all of those 150,000 people buy it, that makes them about $12 million. And I know more people buy than that. But if the Sony executives are deciding whether or not to hand over Bungie a few $100 million to develop, another AAA game that might not even do that well, if the only thing they got to go off is 150,000 people saying they're going to play it, that's not going to outweigh the cost of developing it. I hate to break it to you guys. I hate to talk from a business standpoint, but that's just not happening. You've got to temper your expectations. I mean, sign the petition, go ahead, but like, that shit is not happening. Anyway, I'm personally excited for the update. Like, this is way more interesting than Shadow and Order would have been, like I said earlier. Um, I'm excited. I really want to play Pantheon. From the looks of things, we're gonna get like Callus and Argos back, and like Garan. I'm really excited to play that. I really want to play those raids again. Even just like the standalone bosses and those would be really cool. Obviously, getting like a full Scourge of the Past back would be like insane. I love Scourge. I only did it a couple of times, but it's fucking sick. Um, that'd be awesome. But I know we're probably not gonna get that. Either way, I'm really excited. You know, we get to play some classic Destiny. You know, and that's like really cool. I think we get it one more time, and I'm sure Destiny will stay up. The servers will be up for at least a year to come, hopefully. But like it's not like it's going anywhere. And I guess another thought I had the other day is that like the game is quite big now. Like we got a lot of raids and stuff. Okay, I'm using raids as like a metric here because that's all I really care about nowadays. But like we got like 11 raids or something like that. I don't know. You know, if you think back to like Beyond Light, and we had like 3 raids. I mean, we had 2 before the release of DSC, which is like Goss and Wish. Then we had 3 when DSC released. And when we had like all of the old story gone, there was fuck all to do in the game, and it still sustained itself. Like, that was still enough. There's a lot of content in the game. It's probably, you know, you can still like there's a lot to do. It's a similar situation like to before Beyond Light. Huge chunks of the game that like no one cares about, but it's like really cool. You know, you get what I'm saying? It's like there's the game is actually quite big now. There's actually a lot of content, and this is gonna be. I mean, this will probably sustain me for plenty, at least these months to come if I decide to start playing regularly again. But you know, again, I'm just saying this so I can look back on it in a few years time type of thing. But yeah, it does bore me like a lot of the discourse that the shit people say. Never underestimate the ability for your day ones, like your OGs, to say some dumb bullshit about a situation like this. I know it's bad, right? But like you think people can act normal and say something sensible and apply their critical thinking skills, and then they say some just absolutely just stupid shit. Like, this is the worst way they could have ended the game. It's gonna be terrible. It's Marathon's fault. Uh, like dumb shit. Like, I mean, Marathon. I haven't really played Marathon outside the server slam, but like, that's pretty cool. And it like the aesthetic of Marathon, like like that loading cutscene that you have with like the butterflies and shit. That is like classic Bungie sort of you know like aesthetic. If you think back to like that, you know, if you, I don't know, like that video is called like Letting Go. It's from like 2011. That kind of aesthetic, mysterious, like kind of futuristic aesthetic. That shit's awesome, right? Uh, I guess Marathon does kind of continue. Like, it looks like a really good game. It's just pretty niche. Like, it'll probably end at some point. But again, everything has to end at some point. You guys gotta get used to the idea of things not lasting forever. Like, I'm aware that probably a lot of these, Destiny dads on Reddit who complain are probably all like actually 14 years old, you know? Because no one has, that amount of time to go and complain on the internet about a video game, unless you're literally a child. But like, I do get it, you know? But, it's an exercise in letting go, I think. Right. Uh, you know, hope you enjoyed my thoughts. I guess that's it. I don't know. Maybe I'll say something else later on this. Probably not. Probably say everything I need to say. But love Destiny. Love the feeling it gave me when I first started playing. It's always been there for me, and it's still gonna be there. It's just I'm okay with it not getting developed anymore, and I'm okay with it ending. It's okay. Nothing lasts forever. Anyway, see ya.